to my channel. Today I'm showing you how to make my sourdough biscuits. They are super easy, super simple. Let's get to it. We will get started with 2 1/3 cups of all-purpose flour. I like to use unbleached, but you can use any kind you desire. Next, we will add 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half of a teaspoon of salt, and half of a teaspoon of baking soda. Now take a bread whisk or a spoon and combine your dry ingredients. And then we will go on to our next step, which is incorporating 1/3 cup of butter, which is also 6 tablespoons of cold stick butter. So you can do this 2 ways. My favorite way is to use a cheese grater, and then you just grate the butter into pieces, and then you'll stir, and that's all you have to do. You can also use a pastry cutter or a fork. What you'll do is you'll chop this into cubes, and then you'll use your fork to get it into small pea-sized pieces into your dough. Honestly, the cheese grater is so much easier, but if you don't have one, the fork works just fine. If you grate your butter, make sure you stir it in now. It will kind of get into a clump, so just keep stirring until it's small pieces. This is what you want your dough to look like. You want it to be kind of crumbly with little pieces of butter. Now to add in our 2 wet ingredients. First is half of a cup of sourdough starter. This can be fed or discard. I'm using discard today. Which, if you don't know what discard is, it's just unfed starter. So starter that's not been fed for a little while. And mine's been in the fridge, so it's cold. And lastly, we'll do 3/4 cup of milk, buttermilk, or water. I love buttermilk, but today we're out, so I'm using my homemade cashew cream. I'll make sure to leave that recipe below in the description so you can find that if you would like. Now that we have all of our wet ingredients in here, we will stir this to combine. Now to shape the dough, make sure you take your wedding ring off just so that it doesn't get all gunky if you have one. This is what your dough will look like when you're done combining it. It's shaggy like this. Just put it out on the countertop. And now what you'll do is use your hands to bring it together. If your dough is not coming together, add just 1 or 2 tablespoons of water or milk or buttermilk, and that will help. Sometimes if your starter's hydration is not as hydrated as mine or as the last time you used it, then you can have a drier dough. That's totally fine. Just use an extra tablespoon or so of liquid. And you can do that right here on the countertop. Just pour it right on and get all the extras up. Okay, to create the layers in our dough after we've combined it with a little extra water if needed, you're going to fold it in half, push down, fold it in half again, push down, and that creates our layers. You're gonna do that 1 more time. Now what we will do, you're gonna want to cover a sheet pan with parchment paper and preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. As you can see, there are butter flakes. That is exactly what you want. We'll now shape this into a rectangle type shape, about 1.5 inches tall. Now to cut our dough out, grab a biscuit cutter, a mason jar, or even a glass. And what we'll do is go to the very edge, press straight down, do not twist. Just press straight down and straight up. And then you'll do that again. It can be so tempting to twist your cutter, but do not. Just go straight down and up, because when you do that, it allows these layers to form. And if you're twisting, then it cuts them off and they can't puff up in the oven. So make sure it's up and down. And then place this on your parchment lined sheet pan about 1 to 2 inches apart from one another. Look at those layers. This one does look a little bit wonky. It's because it wasn't a full slab to cut it out, but that's okay. Sometimes you'll get 5, sometimes you'll get 4. As you can see, we have 5 here. So what you'll do with the rest of this dough, do not combine it together and cut it out again. Instead, because then those will kind of be flat biscuits that are not as good, they'll be a little more dense. You'll take this dough and you will roll it into a log. I like to divide mine up into 4 sections, 3 or 4. We'll do 4 today. And then what you'll do, you'll take each section and you will roll it into a log. Just not anything crazy, just a small log, like so. And then you will place these logs on the outside of your biscuits. This will allow them to expand up when they're baking rather than out, because this biscuit dough is here helping them with that in the oven. The biscuits will bake at 400 for about 18 to 20 minutes. When they come out, you'll want a golden brown top and bottom, and that way the inside won't be all mushy. When you pull them out of the oven, place them on a cooling rack so they can cool, and then you can use them to eat by themselves. You can have honey on top. You can put a sausage gravy. I'll leave my hamburger gravy below in the description. It is so good. Or you could even put ham slices on there and do sandwiches. But these biscuits are so good in so many ways. Or you found it helpful, be sure to subscribe below so you never miss any of our content. I post every Friday and then shorts throughout the week. Until next time, happy sourdough baking!